Welcome to Roanchar Ranch Draft Horse Rescue. We're located in Varysburg, New York on 47 acres. We have 4 pastures that total 10 acres. Let's go meet our residents. Solomon came to the rescue from a rural community that still utilizes draft horses. He was 300 pounds underweight with lameness in his right front leg. Our veterinarian determined that his ligaments no longer support his leg and that his bone is fusing to compensate. He currently is on a refeeding program and a pain management program. Even though he is relatively young, he will be a companion horse only. Louie arrived at the rescue in 2020 as an owner surrender. The family could no longer afford him after he was unable to be a lesson horse because he went lame and because they had spent so much money trying to figure out what made him go lame. While here, he was diagnosed with EPM, which is a neurological condition that breaks the communication between the brain and the spine. While today he is much better, and many times you can see him roaming the pastures, he is a companion horse. He is no longer able to be ridden, but he is very trick trainable. Abe is the first horse that Roanchar Ranch Draft Horse Rescue rescued. He was rescued from a livestock auction in 2013. And he has been adopted out twice. Our policy is, however, that if an adopter is not able to keep the horse for whatever reason, that he needs to be returned to the facility. That has recently happened with Abe, where he was returned to the facility after being adopted. Abe returned to the facility with chronic Lyme disease, and one of the effects of that is that he is very stiff. From this point forward, he will only be a companion horse. Our barn consists of an open floor plan. Due to the fact that many of the horses that we receive have emotional issues, the open floor plan allows them the opportunity to decide if they want to be inside or outside and reduces their stress. Both sides consist of 2 12 by 12 areas that can be made into stalls if needed for medical reasons. This side includes a lean-to that is 36 feet long and 18 feet wide. On the end, windows can be installed in the wintertime so to prevent snow and wind from coming. However, in the summer, the windows are taken off so that there is a nice breeze and there's good ventilation. This is the front pasture that is by the barn. It has the ability to be split into 2 sections so that the front side of the barn can be separated from the back side of the barn. If we have horses that medically need to be separated out due to the fact that they're blind or they just have some other ailment where they need to be by themselves or with a partner, we're able to do that via a center line. This is the fencing for the front pasture. It has high tensile covered with vinyl plastic. That section is not electrified. And then we have 2 lines of woven wire that is electrified. This fencing was specifically put in for visually impaired horses, so that if they were to run into the top section, they would not be electrified. Yet if they pushed that boundary, they then would get a shock when they went and touched the woven line. Our other fencing in the other pastures is only woven wire. This is our second pasture and one of our larger pastures. As you can see, there is a run-in shelter so that the horses can get out of the sun during the day. In addition, we are able to close this pasture off because the shelter is available. As I mentioned before, this fencing is 3 strands of woven wire. The top and the bottom are hot, with the middle not being so. This is our third pasture and the first pasture that we open up in the spring. Over the years, it has increased in size as the rescue has increased, so that it can accommodate more horses. The beautiful thing about this pasture is that it does have trees that the horses can use as shade. For the spring, we do create a laneway from the first pasture through the second pasture and up to the third pasture. And this allows us to introduce the grass to the horses gradually. Once the sugar content in the grass has reduced, we then open up the other pastures to the horses. This is our fourth pasture. It's one of our larger pastures. It also has the woven wire and not high tensile. The horses have shade underneath the trees and access to run around, and they really enjoy this pasture. This pasture is always opened up later in the summer due to the fact that it can get kind of wet depending on the kind of spring that we've had. So we hold off on opening this up so that they don't run the risk of getting injured with the wetness. The fourth pasture is attached to the second and third pasture by laneways. It's a gate system where we have gates at both ends for the fourth pasture and for the adjoining pasture. They then have access to go back to the barn if they want to, or go back to shelter. This one is to the second pasture. This is the laneway to the third pasture. Same as the other laneway, there's gates at both ends so that they don't get trapped in there, and it's easy access, and it has worked out to be a very good system. To the left is also property that we have access to. It is owned by myself, and we have the opportunity to expand and create more pastures when it is deemed necessary. We believe in controlled growth here at the rescue. So right now these 4 pastures serve the horses very well. If we increase in numbers of horses, then we will also increase the number of pastures that we have to help support them. This is our hayloft. During the summer, they have access to the pastures, so we do not feed out the hay. So from about June until October, they're out on pasture, and then October to June, obviously, we feed out the hay. We also have a shipping container that can hold roughly 130 bales. This allows us to have a full hay storage capacity of around 1,200 bales. This is our feed and storage area. The feed bags are kept on a metal rack to keep them off the ground and dry. Once the bags are open, they're placed into the garbage cans. So once again, they are kept dry. This area is close enough to hot water, so when we have horses that need their feed made into a mash, we have easy access. Each day the feed buckets are cleaned to maintain the horses' health. This is our 200 by 100 quarantined area that is located on the opposite side of the property from where the main barn is located. New arrivals spend 30 days here. In this area, they are evaluated both medically and physically. Much like our main barn, our shelter can be turned into 2 12 by 12 stalls if needed.